Hello everyone, welcome back. Continuing here with the two packs. This is again from Transformers Legacy Evolution. This is now the Rise of Tyranny two pack, which includes Minor Megatron and Senator Ratbat. You see Megatron here with his Minor, I guess he's a worker type figure in this case, and Senator Ratbat, which he's no longer a cassette for Soundwave in this case, or at least at this point. So there you go, you see the artwork. Legacy Evolution. Over here on this side, we get a peek at the previous or the next two pack for this set. Here's the Legacy Evolution tag. Over here on the back, of course, you see there Center Ratbat, which is based on the Sweep or the Scourge mold. And we got Minor Megatron. You got a bit of an Evil Fusion action there with Minor Megatron. He gets his pickaxe and a drill, which is really cool. You see the tank mode there. Again, more curious about this one than this one. This one, they both look really cool, but definitely looking forward to open this up and seeing this. As I mentioned, here is a peek at the other two pack that comes in this set. So I did keep that box just for the sake of this video. So if you were to get these two, what you get is something like this. So again, that's really awesome if you keep your packaging. Unfortunately, I only kept this box because I want to show you guys what these two look like together. It looks really awesome. If I had the room, I would probably keep these boxes and display them as such because they do connect really well. Unfortunately, mine will both be going in the trash. But again, awesome job to the packaging folks, the folks who designed this.
Okay, let's go, guys, here with Minor Megatron and Center Ratbat. Two cool figures. This is how they come in the box. They come in their bot modes. You do get accessories for each figure. So Megatron here gets his cool little pickaxe that actually comes in two pieces in the box. This handle comes in separate. But again, this is a pretty cool accessory, again, based on the IDW lore and comic book. It's a cool little weapon here with the purple and black. And also because he is Megatron, he had to come with some kind of cannon. Again, this being Minor Megatron. He came with a drill. Again, this can be taken apart, similarly to the pickaxe. And you got some nice silver detailing there with black, with the port here, so this can fit on his arm. Ratbat here, or Center Ratbat rather, gets the gun that you see there. I'm trying to stand up Megatron here. He gets a similar gun that comes with the Sweeps or Scourge. You know, that's what this mold is based on. And it's pretty much the exact same gun, just in this deep purple, almost shockwave like in color, which is rather interesting, right? Because I believe according to the comic book lore, this guy was partly one of the reasons why Senator Shockwave was sort of taken apart or whatever, right? He was a crooked senator on Cybertron. So yeah, onto the figures. Obviously, me being G1, when I hear Megatron, I think of the gray guy that's always angry, always trying to take over Earth or taking over the energy, right? And same thing for, or similarly for Ratbat here. Ratbat to me was a cassette that turns into a bat. So I want to get these because, again, they got me into the IDW, got me into looking into the background of this character. So it's always nice to see the expansion of the lore or additional things into their backgrounds. As I said, Ratbat here was a senator before he was eventually turned into the cassette bat by Soundwave, I believe, in a comic. And of course, Minor Megatron here was not always the Megatron that, you know, we know that's always sort of after Energon or trying to beat up the Autobots on Earth, right? He had his reasons for wanting to fight about, you know, for what he believed in, essentially, at least what was right. So again, really cool that they made these figures on them. So we'll start off here with Megatron, who is again based on the Siege mold, but I think they've done a good enough job that, you know, the paint that they've added, I think, makes him look really cool. I actually love this dark gray and the yellow and black accents that they've added on the chest and the legs. I believe the retools are the shoulders, the chest here, and the the head, obviously. The rest of it is just painted differently. Just start looking at the color. As I said, they got this awesome like dark gray, which plays really well against the lighter gray on the arms and the legs. And we got some red here with the silver striping, which looks really cool and striking. And then of course we've got the awesome head there, which again, it's detailed pretty well. Love the coloring again with the red and the yellow and black lining there. And then moving on down, again, this is more of Siege, right? If you have that figure, you know what you're getting here. And then on the back, of course, this guy is a tank, right? I don't think we're ever, at least in the US, going to get a Megatron that's going to turn into a gun. But this guy turns into a tank, which kind of makes sense for this guy. So he's got this pretty big backpack where the threads are kind of stored. Again, if you know, looking at that Siege mold, I know one of my complaints was the hollowness here on the arms. Again, I wish they would have given us a cover so that we don't have to stare at this empty space. And then I guess my one other complaint is the looseness around the legs. I know the knees can be tightened because there is a screw here that you can tighten with a screwdriver, so I'm going to do that. But the legs up here, particularly around the waist, do seem pretty loose. One thing to note is that these figures originally, apparently the knees are technically assembled in the wrong way. So I don't know if you could tell there, there's this little circle that's technically supposed to be facing the back. So essentially what you would need to do is remove these knees and switch them, right? So this one will go here and this one will go here. And what that does is that allows him to stand up just a tad bit more straighter. For me, I'll probably just end up tightening the screw here to give him a bit more stability. The ankles here are a little loose on both of my copies. This is something that happened as well with my Siege version. This one at least is not as loose as that one, but he is able to stand. The only problem again is because he's got that backpack with some of the loose joints on the legs, he tends to want to fall back. But other than that, if you have that Siege mold, you're going to get the exact same articulation. The head can, for the most part, move fully around. You just have to be really careful. It's on a ball joint there. He can't really look up or down. I mean, he's on a panel here for the transformation, so you can, I guess, fold it down to make him look down, but not really. Arms again here, you can put them up. There is a joint there that you can swing these around. No bicep articulation, but you got your elbow. The hands here are kind of in place. They you can't really do much with them. Legs here again, he can kick. And again, you start to see some hollowness here, which again is rather unfortunate because this is a pretty cool looking figure. So again, wish they would have went the extra mile and given us some covers just to differentiate more from the the original Siege mold. You got knee articulation there, so you can go about that much. The ankles, you got pretty good range, I would say, here with the ankles. They can't really move up and down much, so you're kind of limited there. So again, pretty much the exact same as the Siege mold, but I think what they've done here with the retooling, with the shoulders, the chest, the new head, and the old coloring here, kind of makes him look really cool. And I do, very fond of this look here, for this guy. So yeah, really cool figure. So then we'll move on here to Senator Ratbat. So this one's very striking. Again, very dark purple. It's like they've redone the whole chest here to give you this, I want to say, bat-like symbol in gold, and the head, old brand new head. I don't know that this head's being used anywhere else except for these 2-pack here, but it's again very reminiscent of what was in the IDW comic book. And you've got the whole gloss black look with the deep purple there, so the colors are pretty top notch. It's painted really well, almost premium like in feel, so I think that's really cool. And this again being based on that sweet mold, you are going to have the wings kind of hanging out back there, which I don't mind his Ratbat, so when I think of that I think of wings. So definitely I think the bot mode it's pretty well done. Now again, this is based on the Sweep and Scourge mold from Studio Series 86 and whatever have you. So one of the complaints I had about that figure was the articulation here, particularly around the legs, on the upper legs that are connected to the waist. It's a little stiff and a little hard to get in the position that you want them to, so you have to play around with it a bit. So just something to keep in mind. And my ankles, there is ankle articulation in this guy. I don't know if it's too tight, but then as soon as you barely touch it, it kind of pops back in place. So it takes a bit to get this posed correctly. Other than that, you know, your head here, you can move it left and right. You're not going to be able to move it fully around because of the sculpting on the back. Arms kind of move out, no problem there. You can rotate the arms. The wings do, of course, get in the way. You can move them back slightly. You've got some bicep articulation here in the upper arm. The hands are kind of fixed in place. They don't turn or anything, or he's kind of just kind of pointing, which I guess kind of fits his figure. The other hand, he's got, you know, the holding a gun pose there. And the waist, you can turn around. The waist, the upper backpack here kind of gets in the way, so it's a bit limited here onto how much you can turn this guy around. He can kick about that much. Knee articulation a little bit past 90. I mentioned the ankles before, but he can do splits, so if you want your center Ratbat to be doing splits, he can, and he can kick back pretty high actually, so that's really cool. I mentioned the wings here. You can move them forward or slightly back, but not too much to get them out of the way. So I would say overall, these two are, even though they're based on older molds that do have their issues, I do like the fact that the paint looks very premium. I think they're retooled enough that for me, this was justified as a purchase. Moving on here to the vehicle modes, we've got Senator Ratbat and Minor Megatron here in their alt modes. So let's go ahead and get started with Ratbat here. Again, based on the Scourge or the Sweet mold, you've got this kind of futuristic spaceship kind of boat thing here, all in purple and black, which looks really cool. They've added this additional detail here. Essentially, I guess this is supposed to be the chest, right? But it's a little cover for the face. If you have access to those sweet figures, one of the things they could do is show their face. This one kind of can do the same, but that's what the cover here is sort of hiding the head. So again, really cool that's there. You can attach the gun to the side. That's something you could do. I'm assuming most people, when they display these, they're not going to attach the gun to it. Again, the transformation is pretty much the same because it's the exact same mold, so that's why I didn't go over the individual steps. This mold has been out for quite a while. It's been reissued as Scourge, I believe, and Alpha Trion as well. So it's the exact same transformation. So you still get a lot of this stuff just hanging down, like the legs, the arms. Again, to be fair, you're going to be displaying this figure mostly like this. I think in this mode, it kind of does a great job of covering up everything else, right? These are all the wings elements, the back, etc. I love these little engines here they've added on the back, and you can see the legs kind of hanging out there. But I think in this mode, for what you do get, it's a really cool done mode. The purple and black color definitely looks very striking and very premium, so great job there. We'll move Ratbat here out of the way and then move on to Megatron, which is your standard tank. Again, Siege mold could do the same thing. It was the exact same, except that he has a cannon. This one in this case has a the pickaxe that can combine with the drill, and that's how you end up like this. You can also attach part of the pickaxe weapon here on the side if you wanted to, and this I think this is part of their Evo Fusion, as they call it. You can combine this part with the drill to give it a even bigger weapon, so I'll show you that in a second. But as far as the mold itself, I wasn't too crazy about the tank mode for that Siege Megatron. I mean, it was kind of very basic, for lack of a better term. He's kind of just laying on his side, and you can kind of see the feet just hanging out back, which I wasn't, again, too crazy about. I do appreciate that with the new coloring, he does tend to look a little better as far as the darker grays with the yellow and black outlines here. So he does look pretty cool. And of course, you got the drill now instead of a cannon. You've got some detailing here on the front with the red lights, and again the yellow and black line work there. But again, pretty much the exact same figure that we got in Siege, other than the retooling of the shoulders and chest. I think in this mode, it's not too bad, but I wasn't too crazy about it. Then pretty much down here, you could see there's this face kind of hiding there. It does have wheels, so you can roll this guy pretty well. But overall, again, if you like that tank mode, then great. You know, you'll get more of that here with some different coloring and the different cannon. But if you didn't, you probably won't like this one either. Again, a bit uninspired to say the least. The turret at least can turn, so that's really cool. Okay, so here we are back in robot mode, and before we wrap up the video and do the comparisons, I just want to show you here the Evo Fusion, as they called it, in the box. And essentially you can take the Megatron's drill here and take this and combine it, and you can make this really cool looking drill slash pickaxe that he can hold in his hands if you want him to. So can hold it as such. Pardon the really loose joints there on the waist, but that's essentially what it will look like. So let's wrap this up in grand fashion by doing a comparison. So I'm gonna have to do these one by one, just because I don't think I have enough space here for the camera. So let's move Megatron out of the way for now, and let's concentrate here on Ratbat. So again, because he shares the mold with a Sweep, or Scourge rather, here he is, so you guys could see the differences and or similarities. Again, the whole chest is different here versus Scourge there, head as well. Pretty much everything else, it's probably about the same, right? You got the torso here, that's different as well. As I said, transformation is the same, so if you like the transformation in this guy, you'll like it in this one. If you hated it, you'll probably hate it just as well. But again, you could see there, I think they've done a good job with the paint, the color, and the tooling to make this look quite different, like the center Ratbat from the IDW comic. So we'll move this out of the way, and let's bring in Alpha Trion, which also shares the same mold. And again, it's pretty cool that we're getting all these different versions, right, from G1, from the different comics, the different timelines. So there you go. Different, same mold, just different tooling. So they all represent different characters. And then if you want to see all three together, we'll put them here back to back, so you get a better look at all three of these molds. Alrighty, so let's move him out of the way here, and because we're on the purple kick, why not put him next to some Insecticons? There is Kickback and Shrapnel here. The purple's it's slightly different color, but it just reminded me of each other with the black and purple there. Next, we'll bring in Shockwave, since we're in this purple kick, so you guys could see them together. This is the Siege Shockwave. Purple is whole different color there between these two, so you guys could see them. There you go. So we'll move Shockwave here out, and then we have Soundwave. This is the Netflix Soundwave. I know there's a newer version, I think a studio series coming out, which I do have pre-ordered, but just want to show these two together. Size wise, they're pretty similar in size, and I believe, at least from what I remember reading in the comic, this guy is kind of responsible for turning this Ratbat into one of his cassette bots. And I do not have a Ratbat cassette to show you guys, unfortunately. Just kind of missed out when I was out. The minor Megatron, and of course, first comparison here will be against the Siege mold that he shares with. This is the only other Megatron with this mold that I have. I believe there's been at least 2 other versions. I don't have those. I know there was a Netflix one, which I didn't get, and I think there's one more floating around there somewhere, but you guys could get enough of an idea, right? The chest here, at least the bottom portion here, is what they retool. Looks very different, right? You've got little buttons here and everything, which you don't have here. The head completely different. Shoulders are redone as well. But other than obviously then the obvious color differences, you can kind of see, right, these are pretty much the same mold there. You guys can see them from the side, the back, and of course you could see my minor Megatron with his loose hips or legs, but you could see them here from the back. So again, if you liked this Siege Megatron, you're going to like the minor Megatron. It's pretty much the exact same mold. If you didn't, again, it's more of the same, so don't expect any differences. I think if anything, I don't know if there's some kind of mold degradation going on with this mold by now, because like I said, the ankles on this one were loose, but this one's really loose. And then same thing with the upper legs. My Siege version here is not as loose as this one is, but there you go. Those the two of them together. And then if we want to stay with the whole Megatron comparison, why not throw in another one here? This is the War for Cybertron Megatron. This is the original from the one that came out a while back. So Megatron, right? Very similar there. We'll move him out and bring in another Megatron. Here, we'll stay with the whole War for Cybertron. This is now the newer version of War for Cybertron from Gamer Edition, right? The Studio Series Gamer Edition line. So you could see them together there. We'll move him out of the way. Here we go. More Megatron. This is the concept art Bumblebee, Studio Series Bumblebee movie. Megatron, much taller. Definitely a cooler looking figure. But again, this is based on a comic, right? What I have noticed is a lot of these Megatrons suffer from a very meh or subpar tank mode or alternate modes, but the robot modes are pretty cool, and that's the case with this one as well. So we'll move him out of the way, bring in another Megatron here. This is the Armada Megatron. Again, nothing to do with each other, but just want to show you guys there some comparisons, and then we'll move Armada Megatron out of the way. I had DevCon sort of just sitting around there, so if you guys are interested in seeing that comparison, well, there you go. There's DevCon minor Megatron and center Ratbat. And had Optimus. This is the Earthrise Optimus Prime, because if you're gonna have Megatron, you gotta have your Optimus there. So pretty cool. About the same size, these two here. And here we have both sets, right? The Rise of Tyranny set and the Humble Origins. So again, pretty cool that we're getting in these Legacy United, whatever new Transformers lines, a chance to get different iterations and different versions of all these characters. Specifically, a Ratbat and Shockwave here for me are awesome looking, and so that's simply because it looks so different from what I'm used to. And then it kind of again made me go and look up the IDW mythos and comic and everything. So it was again really nice to get more background built into these guys, right? They have their ideas of what's right and what's wrong, especially with Optimus and Megatron here, right? It's not just good versus evil that we're used to from the G1 cartoon. But that's pretty much it for me, guys. I think as far as Center Ratbat here and minor Megatron, I think is a decent enough set. Again, if you have previously these molds with Siege Megatron and a Sweep or Alpha Trine, it's more of the same. So if you didn't like those, you're not going to get anything different here. If you're an IDW fan, I think these are great enough. I think they've done enough retooling that I think these are great representations. They do have their minuses. Like I wish Optimus here was a little bigger. And I wish the joints or Megatron here weren't that loose. So, but overall, honestly, I do like both sets. I think they're awesome, and I think they're a great addition to my collection. But that'll do it for me, guys. If you have any questions, if I missed anything, certainly let me know. Feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, if you made it to the end, thank you so much for your very valuable time, and I will catch you in the next video. Take care.